So I love Pokemon, if that wasn't obvious. I like to do challenges in my own free time, and so I figured, hey, why not record it this time? I'm probably not the first to ask this question, but I'm going to answer it for myself. Can you beat Pokemon Sacred Gold with only bug types? Pokemon Sacred Gold is a well-known hack made by Drayano. It's a hack of Heart Gold that adds all Pokemon up to Gen 4 into the game, and increases the difficulty. Almost all trainers have Pokemon with diverse movesets, increased levels, way better AI, and some even have held items. It can be a real challenge if you're not prepared. With that, let's go over the rules. I can only use bug types in battle. I can use other Pokemon for HMs. I have to play on set mode. Held items are allowed, but I can't use items in battle. And I can only have one of a bug, so I unfortunately can't make a team of Macho Men Heracross. Very simple rules, but you'd be surprised how much I struggled. If you enjoy, hit that funny little gamer button down below. With all that said, let's get into it. When we start up, Oak tells us some of the changes in the hack. I name myself Oddity. We get the running shoes, bike, and the MP3 player immediately. Great changes already. I picked Totodile. It doesn't matter what I choose, as the rival has a fire type later on anyways. I get to Cherry Grove and leave to go to Mr. Pokemon's house. When I get there, I meet Cynthia, who gives me an Eevee. I get the Dex from Oak and battle an anime antagonist. I name the rival Raid, because bug spray. I don't know, I thought it was clever. And then I set off on the journey. We skipped the catchy tutorial because this game is good, and we caught our first bug. Wurmple. Not the best, not gonna lie. I named it Buge, and I caught a second one and named it Bugette. Buge evolved into a Cascoon after a little grinding, and so did Bugette, unfortunately. I wanted Silcoon, so I caught two more Wurmple, who also turned out to be Cascoon. Gym 3 ended up finally being a Silcoon, so I posited the other failures. I guess if worst comes to worst, I have a box of Cascoon I can use Scaltrops. That could work. I caught a Spinarak named Spinnercrack, and a Kricketot named Noise. I caught a Weedle, but he kind of sucks, so I replaced him with Shank 2. I caught my dad along the way, and decided to grind for 10 for evolutions. I evolved Gym 3 to a Beautifly, Buge to a Dustox, Noise to a Cricketune, Shank 2 to a Beedrill, and Dad to Datterfree. In Violet City, we found this diseased-looking Magnemite I couldn't catch, and after the events of Sprout Tower, the team is now level 16. Now for one of the threats throughout the run, Falconer. So Falconer wasn't nearly as bad as I thought he could have been. Every member of the team did their part in the fight, and nobody was useless, which is surprising. Fun fact, I've lost a Larvitar here in a Nuzlocke, because Swablu has Power Herb Solar Beam. So that kind of sets the tones for the gym, I think. But overall, Falconer was fairly easy, and we beat him on the first try. Hey guys, did you know that in terms of male human and female Pokemon breed... After Falconer, yes. After Falconer, we get to the Union Cave, and literally nothing eventful happens. So now, we're outside the Union Cave. You can get Skorupi on this route, but I decided to skip it completely, because unfortunately, as much as I really wish it was, it would have been really awesome, Drapion is Poison Dark, not Bug. Before we do the events of the Slowpoke Well, we go into the Ilex Forest for a few new encounters. Here we get a Paris, which I named Crab. Very original, I know. And I also caught one of my favorite Pokemon, Venonat, and named it Lomp. After that, we took on the Slowpoke Well. Proton is significantly more of a threat now, and feels like way more than just a slightly upgraded Grunt. But he's really still not worth talking about, to be honest. We then went into the forest to grind, and grab a few more encounters. But before that, Rage stopped us to battle him for the first time where it actually matters. So as of right now, Rage's really not that big of a deal, to be honest. And doesn't really become one until Victory Road. The choice to give him a grass starter made him weaker, for obvious reasons. But later on, he does get a fire type to offset it. Honestly, the raid fights don't matter that much. After the fight, Spinnet cracked evolved into Ariados. In the forest, I caught a Ladybug and named it 5-star. And just, God, he sucked. I tried my best to make it work. I like making bad Pokemon work. But even when he evolved and got Iron Fist, he was just not good at all. I also finally caught a Pineco and wanted to name it Smooth Brain, but it didn't fit. So now he's Smooth Bran. Crab also learned Sport at 17, which was huge. Alright, team's at 22. Let's see how Bugsy Guy got demolished. Like, it wasn't close. Scyther has Technician boosted wing attack, and when combined with its really high speed for this early on, it's not fun. I grinded to 25, and Crab evolved into Parasect, and we lost that attempt too. I decided to get the team to 28, and we still lost 2 more times. But we learned some pretty important things. Bugsy was a bit harder than expected, but not too much. I was fully expecting Wing Attack Technician Scyther to be a threat, but I didn't realize how much of a threat it would be. In all these previous attempts, besides this one, Scyther would wipe the team in about a minute. Not even. About 20 seconds. The most surprising thing to me was that Dad actually outsped the Scyther, though. We probably did need to be 28 for the fight, but whatever. After 4 attempts, we can add the Hive Badge to the collection. After the fight, I went to the Ilex Forest and learned Headbutt. You know where this is going. Heracross baby! Oh, wait, this one kind of sucks. Heracross baby! Nah, doesn't have guts like the other one, but I'll make it work. After getting through the forest finally, I meet up with Cynthia, who tells me to visit the fossil store in Goldenrod that replaced the bike shop. I made a beeline to it and got the claw fossil. This revived into an Anorith, which I named Terabyte. After a little grinding, we got the new boys to 28, and we took on Whitney. Whitney wasn't that hard at all, which might sound weird, despite the fact we're a little over-leveled. But when everything's bullshit, nothing is. The Miltank shenanigans were actually one of the easiest things to deal with. The main fear for me was the massive move pool potential that normal types have, and because of Sacred Gold can use. Luckily though, we're still early games, so nothing too crazy. We beat Whitney on the second try, and we can add the Flame Badge. After beating Whitney, we get the Squirt Bottle and headed north. I realized how good the bug catching contest could be, so I waited and took part. The bugs here were roided. Like, they were as strong as my current team, and remember, we're over-leveled at this point. I wanted my own Scyther for obvious reasons. The disease that Magnemite had seemed to spread to this poor Caterpie, so I caught it for study. I forgot to name this, but I called it Stepdad, 'cause he's my newer, cooler dad. After like 30 minutes of constantly losing due to Crab being so slow and being made of actual paper, I finally caught a Scyther. I won the contest with it, and named it Eve, because razor blades. I also caught Worm the Berm, and Hina the Ninjask, and we finally took on the weird tree. After that, we ended up in Ecruteak, and I got Surf after beating up a man Fortnite dancing. We went to the Burn Tower so we can get Morty back to the gym, and there I met a man obsessed with a pretty dog. The rival wanted to fight again, so we took him on and embarrassed him. Raid's a little tougher here, but honestly still fairly easy. We have a very solid team right now, so the other real counters are things with high stats and good moves, and he has neither. Raid goes down after a single attempt. After that, I learned that I'm the one that let the dogs out, and then went to take on Morty. In the gym, Lomp evolved into Venomoth. Venomoth is one of the Pokemon that have been very buffed by Sacred Gold. Nothing absurd, that comes later, but he's considerably better now. It's now Bug Psychic with Poison Heal, for example. And with that new power boost, he took on Morty. But Morty was much easier than I thought it would be. His first 3 members get taken down after a few turns, and you might think the last half is pretty solid, and it is in its own right. It honestly is. But that doesn't mean anything to a Scyther hitting back for crits and one-shots. Morty goes down with little effort and a single try, as we add the Fog Badge to the collection. Man, I say after a lot. After the Morty fight, I went back for Surskit, because it can now learn Surf. Found it, caught it, and named it Surskeet. On the way, I grabbed a few other encounters I missed. We caught Yanma and named it Durgan, and Illumise and named it Blacklight. Volbeat and Illumise are perfect examples of this hack making complete and utter garbage, like poopy doopy Pokemon, very good. Volbeat, who has access to Tail Glow, has base 47 special attack and 73 attack in the base game. Like, how does that make sense? Illumise is not in the same boat, but it's still pretty garbage. Drayano said fuck that noise and made them very good. They're now both Bug Electric and have much better stats. And they also have the move pool to back it up. You'll find out just how good one of them is later on. Surskit evolved into Masquerain after a little bit of grinding, and much like Surskit, is a Bug Water type now, a change that should have stayed. After cleaning out the lighthouse, we get told Ampy needs his meds, and so we left for Cyanwood. Once we get there, we take on Chuck immediately, as there's really nothing to do, unfortunately. The whole Chuck fight was as much of a wash as I expected. Bug resist fighting, so I wasn't worried at all. I was surprised with the vertical of this Hitmonlee, though. That was a thing he had. Wasn't a good thing, wasn't a bad thing, it was just a thing he had. We destroyed Chuck so bad I don't really have anything else to say, but we add the Storm Badge to our collection after a single try. Back in Olivine, we give the meds to Amphi, and Jasmine goes back to her gym. As we leave, we get the usual phone call from Balba telling us the Safari Zone is now open. But as he was hanging up, he mentioned people in black clothing attacking the Safari Zone. That can only mean Team Rocket. We go to help and find the Sinnoh Companion NPCs fighting them off. After team-up battles with Mira and Buck, we take on Petrol, which I won't show this time, he has his own time later. Cheryl and Marley team up with us after that, and after some other battles, we take on Ariana Grande ourselves. Just like Petrol, her time will come later, don't worry. After all that, we end up at the main Safari Zone itself. I go to heal and find out that it was all a trick, they deceived me. Archer shows up to beat my team's weakened cheeks, but Riley shows up to tell him to fight us 1v1 on Rust. He accepts, and we team up with Riley at the front entrance. I didn't want to break the flow, but we got the team to level 40 right before that, and Terabyte evolved to normal though. Here's a fight. Archer was honestly way less of a threat than the adamants below him. Though that's thanks to Riley, he made this fight way easier than it could have been. If you wanted to see me struggle to him, don't worry. That'll absolutely come later. After fending off the rockets, we fly back to Olivine for the Jasmine fight finally. But right before that, we got a Metal Cove from a man in Olivine, and evolved Eve to Scizor. Then we took on the best girl in Johto. So this fight wasn't anything too special, honestly. We have nothing to take down steel types efficiently besides Heracles, and she had counters for that, so I couldn't just spam Brick Break randomly. Blacklight actually manages to one-shot Steelix with a crit Bug Buzz, so the one threat I was worried about got turned into wet toilet paper. With one try, the best girl goes down and we get the mineral badge. Once she's taken down, we fly back to Ekritik and went to the right. We got strength from the hiker like usual, but strength has been made a rock type move. So, naturally, strength's getting thrown on a Terabyte. After arriving in Mahogany Town, we immediately leave Mahogany Town to the north and go to the Lake of Rage. We find yet another diseased Pokemon. This is spreading really quick. We should probably be worried about that. Whatever, I'm sure it won't come up again. We meet with a man who introduces himself as Lance, and we agree to help him out in investigating something. After watching him literally murder a man, I begin to regret my life choices. We take on the Rocket Hideout, which is pretty uneventful like usual, except for the admins. It's wild to me, this little doofy fucking man took me more attempts than the last 3 gym leaders combined. It took 4 tries to beat Petrol. Mostly because of Crobat, actually. Nothing outsped Crobat, so my solution was literally to stall it out with Eve and hit it with, like, okay moves. I wasn't expecting a Tract of all options, but, you know, he had it. Skuntank had Flamethrower, and Weezing had Fire Blast, and I think Thunder. Like, this team is dumb. Murkrow was changed to a Chatot so it fits better, and after it opens the door to the Electrode power grid, we take on Ariana Grande with Lance's help. Nothing of note here. Much like Archer in the Safari Zone, Lance being here makes this 7 times easier than it actually is. Ariana has never been hard at all. Like, Petrel's been consistently harder this entire time. So, you know, she didn't put up much of a fight, and it wouldn't have been that bad solo either. Lance actually doesn't use his Dragonite here, though. He uses a Dragonair and an Aerodactyl. With the events of the Rocket Hideout finally over, we free the Electrodes from this machine by putting them 6 feet underground, and can finally take on the gym. Price was our wake-up call for all the easy coasting we've been having. It took 4 tries to beat him, and that's honestly just because I was underleveled, but his team is honestly pretty solid. Leading with Snow Biden here is such a good option because it sets up Hail for Snow Cloak and 100% accuracy blizzards. And you have to remember, this is Gen 4. Snow Warning and abilities like Sandstream, Drought, and Drizzle make the weather permanent unless changed. It doesn't just end like in later generations. So we have to deal with chip damage from Hail the entire fight. After a bit of trial and error, we can finally add the Glacier Badge to the collection. Man, that was a really long section. I'm sure the Claire section won't be longer. So I forgot to hit the record button because I'm a smooth brand, but we got a call from Elm as we left the gym telling us Team Rocket had taken over the radio tower, so we went to investigate. After lots of dumb fights, including one from Petrel, who now has an entire toxic stalling team, we get the basement key and go to free the director. On the way, Raid stops us to battle us. I'll save you the time here. We got destroyed kind of easily. Sir Skeet wasn't really pulling her weight, so I went out and grinded new members, and got some Pokemon I missed too. During this grinding, we evolved Smooth Brand to a Fortress, Hina to a Ninjask, but strangely no Shedinja. I don't think I had a Pokeball in the bag. I had other balls, but I think you need a Pokeball. I could be wrong. Durgan to a Yanmega, and Stepdad to a Butterfree. While looking for a female Combi, I found another diseased Pokemon. I decided to grab this one for study too, as it was a bug type. I also grabbed a Pinsir I found and named it Beetle DSM. After I think like half an hour of searching, I finally found a female Combi, and I named her Tamao. Durgan ends up replacing Surskit, and with the new team, we took on Raid. My luck was so much better this attempt. Durgan didn't pull much more weight this fight than Surskit, to be honest, but you know, I don't care. He's fast enough to maybe get a hit in. Surskit's not. We free the president and then scale the tower. We fight Procheron and Ariana Grande again, then reach the tip and take on Archer. I'll save you some more time. He fucking demolished me. I try a few more attempts, but nothing works. Even after grinding, where we happen to find the last diseased Pokemon for this run, his Pidgeotto paid the highest crime for not being a bug type and was executed for it. So it's time for a new plan. I grabbed my stepdad, headed over to Route 27 in Kanto, and started fishing for heart scales. Stepdad has Compound Eyes and Thief, so these love discs basically had a 100% chance of having a heart scale. After farming a few, and learning the move relearner is in Cyanwood now, and not Blackthorn, wish I would have known that earlier, Eve now has Bullet Punch. We go back to the tower and take on Archer. So this fight was the best so far, as we obviously won. Having Bullet Punch made a huge difference, and I knew it would be good, but not this good. I believe Eve is still iron-plated at this point. We eventually later on put the Choice Band on her, as she only Bullet Punches. then it's over. We finally managed to put a stop to Team Rocket. Why is Giovanni here? He claims that Archer sucked fuck, and let me tell you, Gio, you weren't there to watch the fight. He kinda demolished me most of the time. He then challenges us to a fight. Luckily, my plot armor healed us. Otherwise, we absolutely would have lost here, and this would have taken 7 times longer. So Giovanni should just hand over the keys to Archer, because he was a cakewalk in comparison. He still does use his trademark ground types, and that's not a bad thing, but not a good thing for us. Ground types really don't affect us that much. Giovanni goes down after a single attempt. After embarrassing Big Bad Boss Man in front of the man who should be the Big Bad Boss Man, Team Rocket disbands, and we can finally challenge the 8th gym. After making our way downtown, sliding fast, down Ice Path, and we're thorn-bound, we help our stepsister who's stuck, and then finally get to Blackthorn City, where we take on Claire. So this fight is sped up to 4 times speed because it was a long one. Claire already has a very threatening team, normally, but now it's way scarier. Better coverage, better Pokemon, and better AI do wonders for a trainer already using the strongest type in the series at this point. Kingdra's still a threat. Not as much as the one he used to be, but it's hard to still stay a threat when you're outclassed by the wedge around her. After 2 attempts, we finally beat Claire, and thus the 8 gyms are down. After we beat the Dami Mommy, she won't give up the badge to our beta male asses, so we have to go prove that we fuck at the Dragon's Den. After answering an old man's questions that are impossible to fail, we get the Rising badge from Claire. Time for the Pokemon League. Before we can head out, Elm tells us that the Kimono Girls want to see us, so we go to the theater, and they ask to square up. If you notice, there are 2 new ones. They have Leafeon and Glaceon as expected. After beating them off fairly easily thanks to Eve, a little girl tells us that Ho-Oh has returned, so we go to see for ourselves. Man, that is indeed Ho-Oh. I guess Terabyte is now canonically an anime protagonist, as he just one-shot God. So maybe it was his plot armor that healed us earlier. I don't know. Well, guess I'm a side character now. After making our way through the routes leading up to it, and after getting through it itself, we're at the exit to Victory Road. Just one more rival battle. Raid was an actual challenge here. We lost a few times, thanks to Magmortar and Kingdra, and so we decide, let's grind up for Lance right now. So we grind all the way to level 60. So it can go, it was about as easy as you expect. After beating Raid for the last time, we're at the Pokemon League. The final team is Durgan, Lomp, Terabyte, Eve, Blacklight, and Heracles. Arguably the strongest team I can build, honestly. Let's go. A cool thing to note is that this Kadabra here will actually let you take on the Elite Four in any order you want, which is cool. Alright, on to the fight. So, spoilers, this entire Elite Four was as easy as you could imagine. The team is the team is super effective against half of it to begin with, and resists a whole nother one of them. Will does have a powerful team as expected. Like, it could be a massive threat. But thanks to Lomp and Durgan, who both now actually have good moves, he wasn't even a threat, to be honest. I decided to fight the Elite Four in regular order if that wasn't obvious. And Koga was by far the most threatening member of the entire thing. Not to say he was hard, but he didn't go down in like 2 minutes like Will did. Eve was honestly our best move, so we didn't get poisoned. but I'm never gonna learn the lesson of Fire Blast Wheezing, it seems. Durgan actually lived a 4 times Rock Slide, and I get it, it's a muck, and it's not stab, but Yanmeg is made of wet toilet paper, my dude. How did he live 4 times? Koga, much like Will, falls to Blacklight in the end. Bruno was absolutely not prepared for the air slashing that came his way, let me tell ya. My biggest concern for this entire fight was the fact that most fighting types carry rock type moves. But that didn't matter when most things got one-shot, and if they didn't get one-shot, they flinched or missed. This is the single best Durgan has ever done, and it was amazing, honestly. The entire time I was laughing, and at the end, again, Blacklight is on cleanup duty. time for Dami Mommy Part 2. And when your entire team is weak to our entire team, there's not much to say. Houndoom was threatening, but he eventually goes down all the same. And it was super nice to one-shot an Umbreon. That... Ooh, you don't know how satisfying that is. With her being beaten, it's time to take on the champion. This is it. The final battle. We've clawed our way to the top. Let's go. I'm going to let the entire battle play out without any speed up. Imagine being a Dragon Master and you lose half your team to a kid with an Illumise. That's gotta hurt. With that victory, we've done it. You can beat Sacred Gold with only bug types. And this was by far my most fun playthrough of this game. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you somehow stuck around for the end of this whole thing, then thank you. I really do appreciate it. I know you probably wanted to see Red if you stuck around this long, but for time's sake I didn't fight him. Yet. I'll upload a whole separate video of the Red fight. With all that said, if you also... With all that said, if you really did like it, then please hit that gamer button down below if you're a true gamer. Stay hydrated, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.